This video explores the mysterious events that began occurring at Althorp House in Northamptonshire, England, starting in September 2022. Located in the heart of the English countryside, this grand estate has been the Spencer family home for over 500 years and serves as the final resting place of Diana, Princess of Wales. Strange lights, unexplained phenomena, and remarkable encounters have been reported by estate workers, visitors, and local residents around the grounds where Diana was laid to rest on a small island in the middle of an ornamental lake called the Round Oval. Althorp House sits on 13,000 acres of rolling countryside and has been the Spencer family seat since 1508. The current house, built in the 1680s, replaced an earlier medieval manor and stands as one of England's finest examples of Restoration architecture. When Diana Spencer married Prince Charles in 1981, she became one of the most famous women in the world, but Althorp always remained her true home. After her tragic death in Paris on August 31, 1997, her brother Charles Spencer decided to bury her on the estate, rather than in the Spencer family vault at the local church. The island burial site was chosen to give her peace and privacy. Surrounded by 4 black granite blocks and protected by the lake's natural barrier, the groundskeeper at Althorp House had worked the estate for 37 years. He'd seen 3 generations of Spencers come and go, watched Diana grow from a shy little girl into a princess, and helped prepare her final resting place. But nothing in all those decades had prepared him for what he witnessed on that crisp September morning in 2022. Tom Bradley was making his usual rounds at dawn, checking the gardens and pathways before the estate opened to visitors. The mist hung low over the round oval, creating an ethereal atmosphere around Diana's island burial site. He'd grown accustomed to the peaceful silence of these early hours, broken only by the gentle lapping of water against the shore. That's when he saw the light. At first, Tom thought it might be the morning sun reflecting off the lake's surface. But the sun was still below the horizon, and this light seemed to pulse with its own rhythm. It hovered about 10 feet above the small island, casting a soft blue glow across the water. The light wasn't harsh or blinding. Instead, it felt warm and welcoming, like candlelight in a church. Tom rubbed his eyes, certain he must be imagining things. When he looked again, the light had grown brighter, and something extraordinary was happening. The air above the island began to shimmer, like heat waves rising from summer pavement. Within that shimmer, a figure started to take shape. The groundskeeper's breath caught in his throat. The figure was unmistakably female, with flowing blonde hair that seemed to move in an unfelt breeze. She wore something that looked like flowing robes, but they appeared to be made of the same light that surrounded her. As the image became clearer, Tom's hands began to shake. It was Diana. Not exactly as he remembered her from life, but undeniably her. Her face held the same gentle expression he'd seen countless times when she visited Althorp with William and Harry during their summer holidays. The same kind eyes that had comforted so many people during her charity work, but there was something different too, something otherworldly about her presence. The figure seemed to notice Tom watching from the shoreline. She turned toward him, and for a moment, their eyes met across the water. Diana's lips moved, but no sound reached his ears. Instead, words seemed to form directly in his mind, clear as if she were standing right beside him. "Don't be afraid, Tom, I'm still here, just not in the way you'd expect." Tom's legs felt weak. He'd known Diana since she was 12 years old, had helped her climb trees and retrieve lost balls from the lake. Hearing her voice again, even in his thoughts, brought tears to his eyes. "My lady," he whispered, not knowing if she could hear him. The figure smiled, that same radiant smile that had charmed the world. "I've been learning so much, Tom, about life, about death, about what lies beyond both. I need you to understand something important." The light around Diana's figure began to pulse more rapidly, and Tom noticed other shapes moving within the brightness. They were tall and graceful, with an otherworldly quality that made his spine tingle. These beings seemed to be made of pure light, their forms shifting and flowing like living aurora. "These are my teachers," Diana's voice continued in his mind. "They've been helping me understand my purpose, why my life unfolded the way it did, and why I had to leave when I did." Tom found his voice. Are you an alien now, my lady?" Diana's laughter echoed in his thoughts, the same genuine laugh he remembered from her childhood. "Not exactly, Tom. It's more complicated than that. When someone passes from this world with unfinished work, sometimes we're given a choice. We can move on to whatever comes next, or we can return in a different form to complete what we started. The other light beings moved closer to Diana, and Tom could sense their ancient wisdom and compassion. They communicated without words, sharing knowledge through pure thought and emotion. I chose to come back, Diana continued, but not as I was before. These beings, they're from far beyond your understanding of space and time. They've been watching Earth for millennia, guiding those who dedicate their lives to helping others. They offered me a way to continue my work, to help humanity in ways I never could when I was bound by royal protocol and earthly limitations. Tom's mind raced with questions, but before he could voice them, Diana seemed to read his thoughts. You're wondering about the accident in Paris. Whether it was really an accident. Her expression grew serious. Some things happened that night that weren't meant to happen, forces that feared the work I was beginning, the changes I wanted to make. But death isn't the end, Tom. It's just a transformation. The light around Diana intensified, and Tom could see more clearly the beings surrounding her. They appeared to be showing her things, images of Earth from space, scenes of suffering and healing, moments of human kindness and cruelty. It was like watching a cosmic education unfold before his eyes. I've been learning about the bigger picture, Diana explained. About how all life is connected, how every act of compassion creates ripples across the universe. The work I did with landmines, with AIDS patients, with homeless people, it was all part of something much larger than I realized. Tom watched in amazement as the beings began to share memories with Diana, not just from Earth, but from countless other worlds where similar struggles between love and fear played out among different species. He saw planets where beings had overcome hatred and division, and others where they had destroyed themselves through violence and greed. That's why I chose to return this way, Diana said, her figure becoming even more radiant. To help humanity understand that we're not alone, that there's so much more to existence than what you can see with your physical eyes. The beings who guide me, they've been trying to help Earth for centuries, but they can't interfere directly. They need someone who understands human nature, someone who can bridge the gap between worlds. As Diana spoke, Tom began to notice changes in himself. His usual aches and pains from decades of physical labor seemed to fade away. His mind felt clearer, more open to possibilities he'd never considered. The fear he'd felt at first was completely gone, replaced by a deep sense of peace and wonder. You're going to play a part in this, Tom, Diana said gently. Not everyone will be able to see me or hear me the way you can. But you'll know when others need to receive a message, when they need to understand that love never truly dies, it just changes form. Over the following weeks, Tom found himself encountering visitors to Althorp who desperately needed comfort. A mother who had lost her child to cancer. A veteran struggling with trauma from war. An elderly man facing the end of his life alone. In each case, Tom felt a gentle nudge to share what he'd experienced, to offer hope that death wasn't the end of love. Word began to spread quietly among the staff and regular visitors. Strange lights had been seen around Diana's burial site. People reported feeling an overwhelming sense of peace when they approached the island. Some claimed to have heard her voice carried on the wind, offering words of comfort or guidance. The phenomena weren't limited to Althorp House. Reports began coming in from hospitals where Diana had once worked with patients, from the sites of her charity work, even from Kensington Palace where she had lived. People described encounters with a luminous figure who radiated compassion and spoke of hope beyond the physical world. Dr. Sarah Chen, a physicist from Cambridge University, arrived at Althorp in November 2022 to investigate the unusual electromagnetic readings that had been detected around the island. She brought sophisticated equipment to measure energy fluctuations, expecting to find conventional explanations for the reported phenomena. What she discovered defied her understanding of physics. The readings are unlike anything in our scientific literature, Dr. Chen reported to Tom during her third day of investigation. The energy signatures suggest some form of consciousness that exists outside normal space-time parameters. It's as if the boundary between dimensions has become permeable in this location. That evening, as Dr. Chen packed her equipment, the light appeared again. This time, Diana's figure was accompanied by what appeared to be a complex geometric pattern of pure energy, a kind of multi-dimensional structure that hurt to look at directly. Diana's presence filled Dr. Chen's mind with understanding that transcended words. Images of advanced physics, of realities beyond human perception, of technologies that could heal both individuals and entire planets. The knowledge was overwhelming, but also inspiring. Science and spirituality aren't opposites, Diana's voice conveyed to both Dr. Chen and Tom, who had rushed to the lake when he saw the lights. They're different ways of understanding the same infinite reality. The beings who guide me have mastered both, and they want to help humanity do the same. Dr. Chen's instruments recorded energy patterns that would take her years to begin understanding. But more importantly, she experienced a fundamental shift in her perception of what was possible. She returned to Cambridge with data that would eventually lead to breakthrough discoveries in quantum consciousness research. As winter settled over Althorp House, the encounters continued but became more subtle. Diana's presence was felt rather than seen, her influence working through the growing network of people who had experienced something beyond the ordinary. Tom noticed that visitors to the estate often left different than they had arrived. More peaceful, more hopeful, more open to the possibility that love could transcend physical death. The Spencer family, initially skeptical of the reports, began to experience their own unexplained encounters. Diana's brother Charles found himself making decisions about the estate and its charitable work that seemed to come from a wisdom beyond his own. Her sons, William and Harry, reported dreams where their mother appeared to offer guidance about their roles as fathers and public figures. On the anniversary of Diana's birth in July 2023, something unprecedented occurred. As the sun set over Althorp House, witnesses reported seeing not just Diana's figure, but an entire assembly of light beings gathered around the island. The display was visible for miles, drawing crowds of observers who described feeling overwhelmed by a collective message of hope. The beings communicated a vision of Earth's potential future, a world where humanity had learnt to live in harmony with itself and the cosmos. They showed images of technologies that could eliminate poverty and disease, of societies based on cooperation rather than competition, of human beings who had developed abilities that seemed miraculous by current standards. "This is what we're working toward," Diana's presence conveyed to the assembled crowd. "Not through force or manipulation, but through awakening humanity's natural capacity for love and understanding. Each of you who witnesses this has a role to play in bringing about this transformation." Tom, now recognized as the primary witness to these extraordinary events, found his life completely changed. Scientists, spiritual seekers, and curious observers from around the world sought him out for his account of Diana's return. He spoke at conferences and interviews, always emphasizing the core message: love is the most powerful force in the universe, and death cannot diminish its influence. The phenomena at Althorp House became a catalyst for a broader awakening. People began reporting similar encounters with deceased loved ones who appeared to offer guidance and comfort. Hospitals noted unexplained recoveries in patients who claimed to have been visited by beings of light. Environmental disasters were followed by mysterious improvements that scientists couldn't fully explain. Religious leaders struggled to interpret these events within their traditional frameworks, while scientists raced to develop new theories about consciousness and dimensional reality. But for ordinary people, the message was clear and simple. There was more to existence than physical life, and the love shared between beings never truly disappeared. As Tom continued his daily rounds at Althorp House, he carried with him the profound knowledge that Diana's greatest work had begun not when she was alive, but after she had transcended the limitations of earthly existence. Her return as something beyond human understanding wasn't an ending, but a beginning, the start of humanity's next chapter in its cosmic evolution. The island in the round oval remained peaceful, but it was no longer simply a burial site. It had become a doorway between worlds, a place where the impossible became possible, and where love proved itself stronger than death itself. The truth about Princess Diana's extraordinary return has only just begun to unfold. What you've witnessed today at Althorp House challenges everything we thought we knew about life, death, and the infinite possibilities that exist between worlds. If you want to join our community of truth seekers who aren't afraid to explore the mysteries that others won't touch, smash that subscribe button. Because trust me, Diana's story is just the beginning. There are more incredible encounters happening right now that will blow your mind. Until next time, keep your eyes open to the impossible. Because as we've learned today, the most extraordinary encounters often happen when we least expect them. Thank you.